It's not often I manage to get something put out on this channel that is in any way topical. In fact, looking back across my over 3-year back catalog, excluding my Fortnite videos, the only time I've come even close to covering a game that's culturally relevant whatsoever is when I played Astro's Playroom. And if I'm being honest, I really don't think I should get too much credit for that. Today's video really is a landmark achievement then, because believe it or not, the game we're going to be talking about today is actually like semi-viral right now. I've been seeing quite a bit about Amanda the Adventurer on social media. This isn't Amanda the Adventurer. It's not a real show. I couldn't even be bothered to track down a blank VHS tape to use as a prop, but it managed to catch my interest. So much so that despite the fact that it's not really the type of game that I'm typically interested in, I decided I should give it a shot. And I was pleasantly surprised by what I found. Amanda the Adventurer is somebody's Dora the Explorer creepypasta masquerading as a video game, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. From the very beginning, the game plays its introduction a bit on the nose, with the player inheriting a house from their Aunt Kate after her passing. Along with the house comes an ominous note with instructions alluding to a mysterious tape hidden in the attic, and a clear warning that once you play it, there's no coming back. Starting off in the attic, you'll quickly locate the aforementioned tape, a single episode of the titular show, and the adventure can begin. In World, Amanda the Adventurer is an interactive animated children's TV series starring Amanda and her animal companion, Wooly the Sheep. The duo partake in all sorts of everyday escapades, like going to the store, enjoying a picnic, or taking a trip to the park, all the while imbibing their impressionable viewers with a wide assortment of meritoriously questionable life lessons.
We can use a sharp knife.
Occasionally throughout the show, Amanda will stop to interact directly with the player, allowing them to click and choose from a handful of options or deliver a free-form response. Once you finish a tape, you're free to explore the attic again, where you'll need to use your puzzle-solving skills to try and locate the next tape, and then the cycle repeats. These tapes are obviously what the game is centered around, and I honestly love everything about the way they're executed. There is obviously a lot of thought put towards effectively tapping into the nostalgia people my age have towards this type of entertainment, and the fact that they managed to do so effectively is a big part of why I think some of their subversions hit so hard. As the game progresses, the subject matter the show covers becomes progressively darker, and Amanda grows increasingly unhinged, all the while Wooly is desperately trying to rein in her violent tendencies and placing himself in her crosshairs. In terms of interactions, there's not actually a ton that you can do during the tapes. Anytime you get asked a question, they're looking for a pretty obvious correct answer, and 9 out of 10 times that's the only answer they'll take, so there's not really any room to explore. You can of course get the questions wrong, which can cause Amanda to get pretty heated, but this is mostly aesthetic, and the vast majority of the time you'll just be forced to choose the correct answer with nothing more ever coming of it. Exploring the dialogue is definitely worth it though. It's all really well written. I love how out of pocket and sassy Amanda can be with little to no provocation, especially towards Wooly.
That doesn't seem safe.
Okay, Willie.
The VHS tapes are honestly iconic, but believe it or not, they're not actually what drew me to play this game for myself. You see, in my opinion, what really sets ATA up for success is the attic. Given the style of this title, I was pretty surprised to learn that you actually spend the majority of your time moving freely around a fully rendered, albeit small, 3D environment. If you ask me, the vibes are impeccable. I understand this probably wasn't the intention, but personally, I found the environment to be surprisingly inviting. With the table lamps and gentle thunderstorm just out the window, I wouldn't mind spending an evening up here at all. One thing that I really respect about this game is that it never tries too hard to be scary. Sure, it's technically a horror title, but it doesn't take itself all too seriously. You're certainly invited to find any element of it frightening, but it never seems too bothered about the fact that it knows you probably won't. It uses horror elements to tell a story and create an atmosphere, but in both areas it's clearly more concerned with being competent than it is with making you feel a certain emotion. The attic is stacked wall to wall with various objects and containers, most of which have some sort of input on them. As you watch the tapes, you'll quickly pick up on hidden codes and phrases that you need to then use to solve puzzles in the attic. This is my favorite part of Amanda the Adventurer, because there's just something about the process that's extremely satisfying. I think what it is that I'm just kind of stupid, and most of the puzzles are easy enough for me to be able to figure them out on my own, which makes me feel smart.
Look at the chickens. Do you know what the daddy is called?
There's no way people play this without a guide. Part of the way through the game, they also give you access to the pause button, which really opens up a lot of new potential puzzles by letting you essentially create interactions between the tapes and the real world. Essentially, this is a point-and-click puzzle game, hidden behind a 3D veneer, which I find really interesting. All of your interactions with objects basically boil down to clicking and dragging them into each other or entering number or letter combinations into keypads, just like in a traditional point-and-click game. I've got to admit, I've never been particularly interested in the genre, but by more or less luring me in with free-roaming 3D, this game actually has me pretty intrigued by potentially checking out some more traditional point-and-click titles, which is really impressive. Depending on which tapes you find and how you act once you find them, there are 5 total endings to explore, all of which reward you with fun new stickers on the bezel of your TV in future playthroughs. You'll need knowledge from previous playthroughs to get some of the endings, and since there are several branching paths you can take immediately after your first ending, there's a lot of incentive for you to keep playing and find them all. There's also the matter of achievements. Discovering everything in this game is intrinsically enjoyable, but as an achievement hunter, it's also important to me that where achievements exist, they're handled well, so I'm happy to report that grabbing the Steam ribbon is a great experience in this game. The achievements are nothing special, but they do exactly what they need to do, which is basically ensure that anybody who's gotten all of them has seen everything this game has to offer. In this case, that means seeing every ending and finding all 6 secret tapes hidden expertly throughout the attic. I really enjoyed the process, and the not even 5-hour completion time meant the experience, in my opinion, stayed really well-rounded. I like this game a lot more than I expected to. While it's ultimately pretty short and simple, there's something about it that just really took with me. Despite the short runtime, the characters are memorable, and the game provides a space that I enjoy spending time in. If you're interested, I definitely think you should check it out. It's a title I'm glad to have on my list of 100% completed games. You know, I really do need to get on some kind of schedule, or at least plan out the games that I play a little bit more, work on my backlog, but it always seems to be the games that I play 3 hours after learning about them for the first time that really draw my interest. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, maybe even enough to drop a like. I'm not above begging. Leave a comment down below letting me know which mid-2000s children's cartoon should be turned into the next big indie horror game, I guess. Check out the description if you're interested in any of my social media. I'm like super active over there, and that's also where you can find any of the music that I used in this video. I think I should probably go work on an actual full-length video now. Yeah. Thanks for watching.